we will be very glad, sir, that if things become better and we are able to in person welcome you in this institute, but today we are welcoming you online, sir. So thank you very much, sir. And our trust, this institute is formed by Delhi Sikh Gurdwara Management Committee. It's a trust, a statutory body formed by an act of parliament, and it is mostly involved with uh, looking after the gurudwaras, the historic and the other gurudwaras of Delhi. And apart from this, they are also running many educational institutions, many schools, old age homes, hospitals, dispensaries, and the institutions like Khalsa College, Delhi, Guru Gobind Singh College of Commerce, Mata Sundari College, and Guru Harkishan Public Schools, and one of the institute where this program is being organized. So these are some of the very good institutions running in under this trust. And this trust, a parent body, is involved in many philanthropic activities like looking after the poor, and has been doing exceedingly well. and and during the natural calamities, wherever there is a calamity, maybe the earthquakes in Nepal or in Uttarakhand, or any floods in Chennai, so always, and especially during this corona pandemic, the our management committee took a lead, in helping everyone with medicines, with food. Free langars were organized. Not only langar is called food langar, but also oxygen langar was provided in gurudwaras to help people, breathe, because there was shortage of oxygen cylinders and the concentrators. So in our institute, I'm proud to say that we have a very talented and dedicated set of faculty members, and our students are also not only doing exceedingly well, like I can tell you about the placements. Our placements, one of our students has been placed in Amazon at a package of rupees 44 lakhs. So that happened recently. That's a big achievement for the college. Many other students also have been placed in very good companies with very good packages. And our institute is not only doing well in academics, but also, we try to give a very holistic type of education to the students. So in the Andhra Prastha University, at the university level, most of our students have got the top prizes in sports, in cultural activities, in bhangra, dance, and also the AICT has been organizing many hackathons recently, and our students also through this AICT hackathons have gone and visited Canada and many other countries and won prizes also there. And the Canadian government was so impressed with our students. Not only they were stood first over there, but also they were asked by the Canadian government to extend their stay from 3 days to 15 days. And these students were sent to all their universities to guide their students regarding this hackathon programs, and each of these students was gifted by a drone also by the Canadian government. So that way, with the God of grace and with the support of uh, the senior faculty members and guides like Professor Punya, Professor Desai, and many other regulatory bodies, the institute is marching ahead. And uh, good morning, sir. Good morning. Professor Punya has also joined the workshop. Thank you so much, sir. In spite of his very busy schedule, sir has spared time for inaugurating this workshop, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
And sir, your presence enthuses lot of enthusiasm, encouragement, and vigor in the participants to play a very good role in this workshop, and to achieve the objectives of this workshop, that is to learn about this amazing world of artificial intelligence and machine learning. And sir, we are very proud of Professor Punya, who has always stood by the institute. Whenever there were problems in the institute, sir has always stood by us and he has guided us. And not only at the institute level, at the national and the international level, sir, along with his team of Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe, the chairman and the member secretary, and have transformed the whole AICT. In fact, Professor Punya can be said a transformational leader, who has transformed the image of AICT from being just a regulator to a facilitator, and the AICT is now a organization of excellence, we can say, under his guidance. And sir has played a big role in creating transparency in AICT, ethical standards, accessible. AICT is now become more accessible to the stakeholders like us. They are hand holding us. Our students are being benefited through various schemes of AICT. Not only students, even the faculty members, like participating in smart hackathons, internet internship programs. Then they are having many scholarship schemes also. And in fact, we are very happy about the scheme introduced by AICT regarding scholarship for the students who have lost their parents or the earning members of their houses. So that is indeed also a very good scheme and very good step towards helping the student community to achieve their education. And also AICT has become, sir, under your leadership, it has become very caring, which is more important. Now the stakeholders feel that we have somebody to who is going to hold our hand and guide us. So sir, thank you very much for being part of this technical education program, and taking our country's technical education, development of technical education to great heights. And also thank you very much, sir, for today also sparing your very great time and participating in this workshop. And our president and our management also will be joining shortly. Due to certain reasons, they have not been able to join just now. Otherwise, they would have been very delighted to welcome sir, Professor Punya sir, and Professor Desai, who's joining us from Germany. So thank you very much. And over to Seema ma'am.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for your thoughtful and gracious words. And I think it has certainly set the tone for this wonderful FDP. Developmental programs for faculty members become instrumental in continuously modifying and restructuring their offering to the students. A package of rich inputs by experienced resource persons enhances the teaching and research capabilities, and a set of practical exposure-based discussion improves the knowledge of the participants, which makes them fit in today's highly competitive academic arena. Having said this, may I now invite the FDP coordinator, Dr. Ashish Bhardwaj, to kindly deliver the inaugural address and spell out the need and the significance of an induction program such as this. Over to you, sir.
A very good morning to all of you. Am I audible, Dr. Seema?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. Thank you. A very good morning to Professor Punya, Professor Desai, Director Madam, fellow faculty members and participants. AICT and IST has provided an opportunity to our college for interaction and mutual exchange of ideas between teachers interested and working in these areas of specializations of artificial intelligence and machine learning. This program is to augment teachers in technical institutions for upgrading their knowledge and improving organizational and pedagogical skills. Through this program, teachers can familiarize themselves with modern engineering practices, including the latest technologies, advances adopted by industry, keeping in view the national needs, priorities, and relevant technologies. Artificial intelligence is the ability of machines to seemingly think for themselves. It is very back from where Leonardo da Vinci in 1495 had given up this humanoid robot, was the first attempt for artificial intelligence. In 1738, Jacques de Vacus has come up with a French duck This duck can eat and digest the grains as well. A very famous robot, Tin Woodsman from Frank Baum in 1900 was also invented. This was considered as a robot in search of a heart. Then we have tortoises from Dr. Gray Walter, which were named as Elmer and Elsie. They were, if the battery is going to down, they are going to search for the switching point and charge for themselves. And machine learning, which is the another part of the FDP, is the set of programs that perform better with experience. Artificial intelligence may or may not work by learning from experience. Using data to answer the questions from experience, study of computer algorithms that improve automatically through experience. It may be a layman which considers this as machine learning with reading, but this is not machine learning. Machine learning is somewhat like this. This is an algorithm for machine learning, which is support vector algorithm, which we are going to study in this FDP. It will be taught by eminent resource persons from our country, like Professor R. Natarajan, who has been the ex-chairman of AICT and ex-director of IIT Madras. We are fortunate to have ex-director of IIT Delhi, Professor D.P. Kothari. Currently, Professor Ramchandra Favde from IIT Dharwad. He will also be the resource person. Director of ICAR from Hyderabad. Professor A.K. Singh from Motilal Nehru National Institute of Technology. We are having a professor from Jamia Millia Islamia also, Professor Tanveer Hamal. We are having on, it's not that only AI and ML will be taught. We will be having lectures on leadership skills from Colonel B. Venkat, who is Director Leadership Team from AICT. And the same time, we will be having industry personals like Dr. Deepika Sharma, and we will be having from GB Pant University, Uttarakhand. From IST, Professor Vijay Vaidya will also be occasioning us. And there will be a universal human resource value lecture also by Dr. Munshi Yadav. The participants to the program are from various states from our country like Bihar, Chandigarh, Delhi, Gujarat, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, and Uttar Pradesh. The expected outcomes from the FDP is for the participants will get a depth understanding of AI and ML tools and its implications in decision-making process. It is very important for our college right now also because we are starting with the new branches of AI and ML and AI and data science from this year itself. It will allow participants to gain better understanding of how to conduct theory and practical classes of teaching these subjects and to develop an understanding of artificial intelligence and machine learning. That is all from my side. Over to you. Thank you very much for listening, and over to you to Dr. Seema.
Thanks a lot, sir, for apprising everyone of the program objective and the expected outcomes and putting everything into the correct perspective for everyone present, sir. Just like with many other industries, artificial intelligence and machine learning are changing engineering. Even though these technologies are now seemingly everywhere, we shouldn't overlook how truly incredible they are and the remarkable things they enable us to do today and will allow us to do tomorrow. For engineers, artificial intelligence and machine learning might cause the tasks that they do to evolve, but it can also help them to do things they weren't capable of before. Even though this FDP is the marker of the success of our institution, it also allows us to meet some of the most brilliant minds of the country. I'm extremely delighted to extend a cordial welcome to our distinguished guest of honor, who is none other than the President of Indian Society for Technical Education, New Delhi, Professor P.K. Desai. A prominent scholar, a committed academician, a visionary, a nationalist, and an eminent technocrat, Professor Desai completed his PhD from Shivaji University, Kolhapur. The son of a freedom fighter, he was raised with very strong values and principles. He has a prominent background of social reforms, patriotism, and education. Sir has delivered many keynote addresses at conferences in India and abroad. His deliberations on the opulent Indian education and its history is highly revered. He has numerous national and international research papers to his credit. He's a member of various committees and task teams constituted by the government of Maharashtra. He has actively participated as a member of All India Federation for Polytechnic Teachers Association and has attended and participated as a member of the Indian delegation on various international meets such as the World Engineering Education Forum, International Federation of Engineering Education Societies, Global Engineering Deans Council in countries like US, Canada, England, France, Germany, to name a few. Dr. Desai is the youngest ever president of the prestigious organization ISTE. He has also held several prestigious offices and positions, namely as the chairman of the Indian Engineering Deans Council, council member of AICTE, member of the advisory committee for the overall curriculum development cell, IIT New Delhi, convener, Maharashtra State Technical Teachers Association, president, Moni Vidyapeeth Staff Association, and he was also invited by the Africa Asia Scholars Global Network at England. He has visited almost 35 prominent universities the world over to study the technical education scenario in the world during the course of his illustrious career. In fact, he even initiated the ISTE AICTE Faculty Development Program, FDPS, and received handsome grants for the same. With such an illustrious track record to his credit, it is indeed our proud privilege and honor to have him amidst us today. May I now call upon Sir to share his insightful thoughts and pearls of wisdom with the August gathering. Over to you, sir, and most welcome to this August house.
Chief guest of today's function, a very dynamic leader of AICT, and the person who has played an instrumental role. Madam Seema was talking about the reinitiating the program of faculty development programs of AICT and IST that has been allotted to your institution also. The person behind that is Dr. Punia. Honorable Madam Raminder Randhawa, Head of Department, Professor Bharadwaj, dear participants, ladies and gentlemen. Let me make use of this opportunity to thank Madam Randhawa for inviting me over here on the occasion of the inaugural function of this one-week FDP on the subject, the use of AI, artificial intelligence, into the technical education. I'm very much thankful to you, Madam, for providing me an opportunity to be with you all on this pleasant morning and to allowing me to be the part of your institution also, which is just very young. I just now came to know that it has been started that in 1999. 1999 is a 20-21 years journey. For an institution, it's a baby institution, but still the reputation what you people have earned. You have become a brand in Delhi. That is what my perception about this institution is. So thanks for inviting me over here. And when Madam was talking about the reputation of the institution and the credentials that the institution has earned, ma'am, let me tell you one thing. When we scrutinize the proposals and award such programs to the institutions, two things we take into the consideration. Number one, the reputation of the institution, the capacity of the institution to make justice with the program and their capacity to deliver it in the best possible manner. That is number one. And number two is the topic chosen. I was really impressed by looking into the topic that use of artificial intelligence into the technical education. To me, I feel it's very apt and appropriate at this point of time because everything is changing now. We talk about the change in industry, we talk about the changing technologies because many new things are coming, many new technologies are coming, and many of them are disruptive in nature. When everything is changing, the expectations of the industry from the education system are changing. And therefore, it's a time now for us to change, for us to quickly respond to the changing needs of the industry. That's one part. But another very important part is students are changing. We are dealing with the Generation Z students. And these Gen Z students are techno-savvy. They are very much interested in something new. I just would like to put before you that how they are changing. When I was studying, I passed out in 1985, and the aspiration of my generation was get a degree and work for some good company, some telco or some Kirloskas at that time, Mahindras and all. That was the aspiration. After 10 years, it changed. And the aspiration of that generation was to go abroad in the countries like US, work for some good company. That was the aspiration of that generation. Again, after 10 years, it changed. And that aspiration was go to the specific countries like US, Germany, or some good company and work for a specific company like Microsoft, IBM, and such companies, work for some good companies. After that, again, 10 years, aspiration changed. And that aspiration of that generation was go to a particular country, work for a specific company, and be the CEO of that. And my dear friends, we all know that we have a number of CEOs, Indians. So like we have a Satya Nadella, Sundar Pichai, then Jay Vijayan of Tesla. We have a chairman of IBM India, and recently a Twitter guy has been that person from India. So we have a number of. So that was the aspiration that has become. But the aspiration of this Generation Z students is altogether different. They want to create everything here in India. And therefore, I think it's a time because their needs are different now. They do not expect you people, for us or teachers like me and you, to deliver a speech lecture into the class. Reading, remembering, reproducing, it's outdated now. They want something new. They want something which is out of box. And because they know where the content is and they're not at all interested into that. They know that at a click of mouse, everything is available. Unless you tell them, unless we orient them to what to do with that information. So that is very important. Once I was reading one book and I read about a quote from Albert Einstein. And he has said that making student understanding a concept is not an education. Making student understanding a concept is not education, but making him digest the concept and make use of that content, that knowledge or that concept to solve a real life problem is the education. And that is what is required now. My dear friends, whatever we deliver into the class, we give it, say, just in piece of information. Unless students think on that information will not get converted into the knowledge. So information is to be converted into the knowledge. And again, unless that knowledge is used to solve the real life problem, it doesn't become technology. So information is to be converted into the knowledge and knowledge into the technology. That is what is the real job of an engineer. And unless we do that, I feel that knowledge is important knowledge. The knowledge which is not of any use to the society. The knowledge, because we generate knowledge. Many times we do research. PhD is nothing but a research. But how many of those researchers have been converted into the patents, and that to commercial patent? How many of them have really been useful for the society? I think that is to be looked into. This is the factor. So we have to make student think and make use of the knowledge. So in short, what we have to do is what to do with what he or she have. That becomes important. Almost 400 crore population of this world, their daily earning is just less than $2. More than 200, it's 80%. It counts about 75 to 80%. Unless we attack the problems of those people, unless we make use of the technology to solve their problems, to improve their standard of living, we just cannot think of transforming the world. Nelson Mandela once has said that technology is a strong tool to transform the world. And if at all we want to transform it, the only way is make use of technology to solve these problems. I'm a fan of Dr. Mashekar, a dangerous optimistic. He always talks about the technologies that really attacks the problems of the base of economic pyramid. Also, one simple example I just would like to give you. Artificial limb was developed in US, and the cost of that limb is around, at that time, it was around $20,000 US. So that was a big cost. So using that limb, a person used to run, jump, play football, and something like that. The same food was developed in India. You all know, using food, same activities an individual can do, but the cost of that food is just $28. So incubator has been developed now. It's a portable incubator which work without electricity. So we all know that the cost of an incubator, conventional incubator that doctors use, is more than 5 lakhs rupees. This incubator you will get for 5,000 rupees, and you can take it to the jungle and remote areas, and that can save the lives of many. So unless we make use of our knowledge, our technology to develop such technologies, not only the affordable, but extremely affordable, such technologies, I think we just cannot think of changing this world. And engineers' responsibility is to change the world. So let us join hands together. Let us accept this challenge. And I feel within no time, we can definitely change this world. I once again thank the organizers for providing me an opportunity to be with you all. I wish you all the best in all such endeavors, and I assure you the fullest cooperation of IST in all such endeavors. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir, for that very thought-provoking and well-meaning advice and all your magnificent insights, sir. In fact, I must say that your gracious presence today here has been very inspiring and motivating to all of us, sir.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I'd also like to apprise everyone that our Honorable Chairman, Sardar Avtar Singh Hitji, has just joined us. So I'd also like to take this opportunity of welcoming and inviting over our Honorable Chairman, Sir Sardar Avtar Singh Hitji, to say a few words to this academic forum. In fact, he has been the guiding light for this institution and a huge source of support and inspiration in steering our institution to glorious heights. His dedication and patronage towards the Institute remains absolutely unparalleled and worth placing on record. May I now request you, sir, to kindly share your valuable thoughts and ideas on this important occasion.
Madam, I think he has, because of some problem, he has left, maybe joining again.
No problem.
So you can continue.
We can, yeah, sure. I thought he was here and he would want to
Yes. Somehow he has left. No.
Eager to, have a word with everyone around.
He will be joining again, maybe.
Yes, no problem, sir. I'm profoundly delighted to take this opportunity to introduce and accord a befitting welcome to our extremely worthy chief guest of the day. His name really needs no introduction. He's a name to reckon with in the Indian technology scene. He's none other than Professor M.P. Punia, the Vice Chairman of All India Council for Technical Education. A stalwart in the field of technology, a renowned and remarkable academic, a prominent technology expert, an acclaimed researcher, an eminent policymaker, a man of far-reaching vision and impact. Professor Punia specializes in the field of mechanical engineering, IC engines, gas dynamics, renewable energy, and sustainable development. He has a MTech degree in thermal engineering and a PhD in IC engines from Indian Institute of Technology, New Delhi. He possesses a rich academic experience of 30 plus years and has more than 90 research papers published in national and international journals. He has 10 books and 2 lab manuals to his credit. He's also guided a large number of MTech and PhD dissertations during the course of his distinguished career. Dr. Punia is the member of IEI, ISTE, and Society of Automotive Engineers. He's been serving as the Vice Chairman of AICTE since 20th January 2017. And prior to this, he served as the Director of the National Institute of Technical Teachers Training and Research, Chandigarh, for about 5 years. Professor Punia is the recipient of Bharat Mata Award conferred by the Indian Institute of Oriental Heritage on 16th August 2014. On behalf of NITTTR Chandigarh, he received the National Award for the Empowerment of Persons with Disabilities 2013 by the Honorable President of India on 3rd December 2013 in New Delhi in recognition of outstanding performance in the field of best institution for empowerment of persons with disabilities in the country. Professor Punia has also made significant contributions for the growth and development of technical education in the northern states of India while serving as the director of NITTTR Chandigarh. He conducted various sub-regional and in-country programs in collaboration with Colombo Plant Staff College for Technical Education, Manila, Philippines. He's been the member of nearly 20 government autonomous bodies, universities in the state of Punjab, Haryana, Himachal, Delhi, and Chandigarh while he was at NITTTR Chandigarh. And Professor Punia is also an advisor of the Sustainable Business Network of United Nations, ESCAP Business Advisory Council. He's always been very vocal and emphatic about quality education, good governance, e-learning towards digital India, go green environment, skill development, and has appreciated and acknowledged the achievements and the work carried out by the UGC, the NBA, the NAC, the Consortium for Educational Communication, and the Telecom Sector Skill Council. He's also visited many countries like USA, China, Canada, UK, Singapore, and Australia, to name a few. May I now request our Honorable Chief Guest of the day, Professor Punia, to address the August House and cast the light of his precious insights and vision upon us. So without wasting any more time, let me call upon Professor Punia to enlighten us with his thoughts. Over to you, sir. The stage is all yours.
Thank you, Dr. Seema. Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir. And a
Uh,
very
respect-
warm welcome to you, sir.
Thank you. Respected Professor P.K. Desai, President of Indian Society for Technical Education. Very, very dynamic leader, academic leader, Dr. Rominder Kaur, who is director of this very, very prestigious institute, which is not only prestigious for Delhi, but it is for whole country, Guru Tegh Bahadur Institute of Technology. The coordinator of this program, Mr. Bharadwaj, all the participants who are connected here, it's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. And very long introduction of mine, it has been given. Seema, longer the introduction, smaller the person always.
Not
the
at
same
all,
fashion,
sir.
Dr.
Not at all, sir. I
In
beg
this-
to disagree, sir. I think it
I'll-
will take me a full day to surmise and
I'll-
summarize what you've
I'll-
achieved, what you've accomplished.
I'll prove this one, Seema. I'll prove. Same way, Dr. Pratap Singh Desai's introduction was also very, very long. So always longer the introduction, smaller the person, that I'm saying. Particularly when India was fighting against Britishers, Mahatma Gandhi ji was the leader. He was staying in Sabarmati Ashram. Once he has received one postcard, even today if you are visiting Sabarmati Ashram, that is in Gujarat, that postcard, it has been written by one Australian citizen. And he has given some suggestions to Gandhiji that in what way his actions it has to be, so that in no time the Britishers can move from India. So some suggestions he has given. It is not important what contents he has written. So letter is coming from Australia to India, to Gujarat, and finally to Sabarmati Ashram. And the address which was written on that letter, on that postcard, it was just Gandhi, India. So introduction of Gandhiji was just Gandhi, India, and later starts from Australia, coming to India, finally to Gujarat, to Sabarmati Ashram. So foremost and important part is my humble best wishes to whole Guru Tegh Bahadur Institute of Technology team, that at least your introduction of this team, Guru Tegh Bahadur Technical Institute of Guru Tegh Bahadur Institute of Technology, the introduction of this whole team, introduction of students and faculty members, it should be that small. Just Guru Tegh Bahadur Institute of Technology, India, wherever your students are going, they should be able to bring laurels and name and fame for this country. That type of best wishes to everyone. I know the potential of your institutes. It's amazing. There is no doubt about this one. When you are doing something new, many challenges are coming. Rominder, there is no need to worry. Many challenges were there, but now it is history. Everything it has gone. Now whole field is for you people, for your whole team. And please do very, very special for this country. Enormous expectation country is having from the institute like this one in 21 years, that as Pratap Singh ji was saying, 21 years history and lot of name it has been created, lot of positive dent it has been created by the strengths of yours. And as you were mentioning, across the globe your strengths are present. It has to be. Even the culture, the traditions, the sanskaras, the values which we have observed through this Delhi Sikh Gurdwara Management Committee, and particularly at the time of COVID, I dream that same culture it has to be into this institute. Many people in AICT institutes also, even in AICT also, many of our colleagues were suffering. They were in fear when Corona was going on. Even there was scarcity of oxygen. Many people, when used to telephone to me, sir, this type of problem in family, it is there. Always I used to say, Rominder is there. There is no need to worry. Our Gurdwaras are there. Presence of God is there. That blessing is there. There is no dearth of oxygen. So that sort of faith which it has been created by this management committee, then certainly responsibility of we teachers are much more. We are serving for that mission. So our responsibilities are much more, and particularly teachers who are working in this institute, they are the role models for whole country. That type of environment we would like to create into this one, and the help which it has been extended by Pratap Singh Desai through AICT, that is, please do organize such programs so that empowerment of teachers, it has to be, quality in education, it has to be, acceptance of our graduates, it has to be, and acceptance according to the needs of the industries, according to the needs of the society. Our target, our dream is that any graduate who is coming out from our technical institutes, they should be technically sound. Foremost and important dimension of a graduate is he should be technically sound. And second one, he should be professionally competent also. Whatever job, whatever responsibility he's carrying, he should be able to do justice with that one. And finally, that graduate should be socially relevant. बच्चा जो है समाज उपयोगी हो, that is the dream. And that clarity into the mind of that student, it has to be that what is my role. First of all, what I am. Every student should be able to understand what I am and why I am. What is my role? What exactly I can do? First of all, for the betterment of my family, my parents, my grandparents, what exactly I am able to do. Then for my community, for my society, for my nation, for across the globe, in what way I can do wonders. That should be the dream of these friends. And certainly our AICT's efforts are, that dream will be fulfilled only if our teachers are competent. The assignment we have given to Desai, that everywhere we are unable to reach. AICT is a smaller organization, but country is a big. There are 10,000 institutes in the country where some 6 lakh teachers are working, and number of students who are studying at present, that is 8 million. 80 lakh students are studying in technical education. So everywhere we are unable to reach, please do help us. And Desai has taken this challenge, and he has accepted. Since last 3 years, we have joined hands all together, and every year IST is conducting around 300 programs in a year. Funding we are giving, but just funds we have given and we have forgotten. Their role is basically to implement this scheme and confidence building of the teachers. It has to be very successfully they have done, and his dedication, his sincerity we are able to observe. Probably in Germany, it may be around 7:30 in the morning. He's traveling somewhere and still is connected with the teachers. That sort of dedication he is having, and certainly these type of efforts will make our country in very, very, very different. And that's the target of ours. Huge country, I said, ours is a huge country. World's population is 7 billion. And out of 7 billion, we Indians are 1.4. And out of that 1.4, roughly 50% population is less than 25 years. Very young generation we are having. So when I'm doing small calculation, 7 billion total population, India's population is 1.4, 7 divided by 1.4, if I'm doing. The figure which you are receiving, it is less than 6. It is roughly 5. It means every 5th person on this globe is an Indian, and we want that presence of our Indian youth with values, sanskaras, traditions, our family system, our relationship abilities, our team building capabilities, our communication skills, our dedication, our sincerity, our core competencies should be in such a way that anywhere where our graduates are going, they should be able to prove that we Indians are something very, very different. And that type of environment we would like to create. Young generation, I'm saying, and this young generation is just like human beings. They are just in numbers. They are just like human beings. Our target is they should be created into a strong human resource. And that strong human resource, whenever they are moving across the globe, because whole world is just like a village. We are not saying it is a brain drain. Anywhere our graduates should be able to go, they should be able to deliver. And in lieu of that one, if they can bring dollars for this country will be growing if we'll be having dollars. If this human being, strong human being base, it is getting created into human resource, and that human resource is bringing dollars for this country. Just like Pratap Singh Desai ji was saying, that information is getting created into some ideas, and those ideas are getting converted into some useful product that is in the form of technology. And finally, the technology is getting converted into some GDP contribution in the country. Honorable Prime Minister of India is dreaming to have $5 trillion economy. At present, we are having around 2.8 to becoming 5. Certainly, it's a dream. And that will be possible only if this young population which we are having, if they are able to deliver, if right direction it can be provided to these youths, then certainly that type of dream can be fulfilled. If we'll be having dollars, then our infrastructure will be growing, our facilities will be growing, our health facilities will be stronger, our communication skill, communication methods, our transportation, our infrastructure, everything will be strengthened if we'll be having strong GDP. And that Atmanirbharta or self-reliant principle which Government of India is saying, that will be fulfilled if we people will be doing justice with everyone. Many challenges we people are having. I'm saying our education system is very large also. And in technical education only, some 8 million students which are studying That's a real challenge for us, because if they are not given proper direction, then they can revert back also, they can rebel back also, and handling those youth will be very difficult. And that challenge is coming. Out of 80 lakh students who are studying, foremost task is around 15 lakhs every year they should come out, because passing means entry, and roughly 18 lakh students are entering every year. Same number should go out, and it is a 4 years program. Some programs are 2 years management, like this one. So everything is becoming 80 lakhs. But as far as yearly entry it is concerned, it is around 15-16 lakhs, 18 lakhs, roughly 18 lakhs. But actually students who are graduating every year, that number is 13 lakhs. So when students entry is 18 lakhs every year, that same number should go out also. 18 lakhs should go out also. But in between, I'm saying the success rate is only 13 out of 18. So roughly 5 lakh students during their education, while they are pursuing their higher education, during that time, they are getting dropped out. If they are getting drop out, it means we teachers couldn't create interest inside the classes. Probably they have been failed, or they are doing unable to do justice with the subjects which are given to them, or probably they were not having interest into the subjects which has been pushed into them by parents or by society or by teachers. So important task is this dropout. These 5 lakh students who are getting dropout every year, and they are getting added into the team of unemployed youth of the country. If we'll be having this unemployed youth that is very large, then how country will be growing? It's a very serious challenge. So every teacher's role is that one part is the access of the education. Education should be available for everyone, and that's the dream of National Education Policy also. At present, if 100 students are passing through 12th class examination, only 27 are able to enter into higher education. Our gross enrollment ratio is only 27%. US, it is 87%. Japan more than 70%, UK more than 70%, Malaysia more than 60%, our neighbor China more than 55%. So these countries are developed nation because their higher education is very strong. Ours is only 27%. And out of that 27%, I'm saying the students are, when they are being assessed, when they are getting examined, they are getting failed, or they are getting dropped out. And the story doesn't end here. The 13 lakh students in technical education who are graduating every year, they should be accepted by the industry, they should be accepted by the society every year. That's our target. Actually, students are getting placement through campus drive. That number is around 7 lakhs. So entry is 18 lakhs. Graduation is actually 13 lakhs. And actually students who are getting job every year, it is around 7 lakhs. So it is a huge imbalance. So many a times we are asking from the industries that what is the reason why you are not accepting our graduates. One side we are saying our Indian students are most talented, they are doing wonders. As Pratap Singh ji was saying, many of the CEOs in the world are the leaders from India, and they are doing miracles. But another side, our Indian industries are saying that graduates are not up to the mark, up to their expectation. It is not there. So when we are asking, first and foremost reply they are giving, they are saying the curriculum, the contents which we are teaching to these friends inside the classes, industries are saying it is outdated. Whatever it has been finished in some 30 years back, those contents we are delivering today. So important and foremost part is whatever the needs of the industries are, those contents, it has to be delivered to these friends. That is foremost part. Industries are saying that we are competing at global level. Our technologies, our processes, our quality of the products, the cost of the product, it is of that global repute. And certainly it is true. Mobile may be manufactured in India or Japan or America or US, wherever it may be, the processes are same, technology is same. So industries are saying that our technologies are of that level. But the strengths which we are getting, the human resource which we are getting, that it has not been aligned according to these needs. So AICT has taken that initiative that we have request to the industries, please do come in AICT, please do sit us, please decide what contents you need. So this AI/ML which we are saying today, and that is in education, you people are saying very important topic you have taken. It is application of that AI and ML, how education, how learning can become effective of this trend by the use of AI and ML. That's very important. Not only AI and ML, industries have suggested robotics, 3D printing, cyber security, this machine learning, deep learning, many areas they have suggested, and accordingly we have changed our curriculum, whole curriculum we have changed. Changing curriculum, it's easy, but then who will teach? Many new contents we have added into the curriculum. Who will teach? So the next initiative which AICT has taken, imparting training to teachers. Our students, our teachers should be capable. The capability of the teachers will decide the capabilities of the students. Certainly, our students are talented. There is no doubt about this one. Our teachers are dedicated, but some support to the teachers, it has to be. Empowerment of the teachers, it has to be. So immediately we have started training programs in these emerging areas. Now AICT is having AICT Training and Learning Academy in the name of Atal. And many programs in the country we are conducting in these emerging areas. So teachers empowerment, changes in curriculum, those were the suggestions of the industries. Immediately we have tried to implement that one. Another suggestion industries was giving that your students are practically weak. Theoretically, they may be quite sound, but hands-on part, practical part of the students are weak. So same time we said that laboratory component, more exposure to the students, to the laboratories, to the workshops, to the hands-on part, to the practical part, to the internship, exposure in the industries like this one. So we made this internship also mandatory, 6 months internship mandatory. But accommodating 80 lakh students every year by the industries itself is a very, very difficult. So we said it is not necessary that every student is going into the industry. Our academic institute, just like Guru Tegh Bahadur Technical Institute, in that institute, the infrastructure which is available, the workshops which are available, competition facilities which is available, at least after first year, when month of June, July it is there, when summer break is there, that internship of the students should be in the institute itself. Those facilities, because that time our technicians, our teachers are free, and that friendship of technicians and students will be doing miracles. So that hand holding after first year inside the institute, if it can be done, certainly it will be a great help to the students. After second year, we said it is not necessary again that students will be going into the industries. After second year, we are suggesting that people who are working on the roadside, someone is repairing motorcycles, someone is repairing scooters, someone is repairing air conditioners, someone is repairing mobile. Can we connect our engineering students with those artisans who are working on the roadside? Students will make them to learn also, and students will be learning from them. That sort of hand holding will be there, and that will be a benefit to the students. So after second year, we are saying take our students outside the campus and make their friendship with those people who are basically having very, very strong hand capacities in their hands. So that connect it has to be. And after third year, when they are matured enough, then when they are 21 plus, that time we should take into the industries where real work is going on the ground, the work which is going on there, we should take them. And in final year, students should be able to sit into the library. Whatever the live problems are there of the society, live problems of the industry, live problem of the research organization, they should be able to solve. So if that sort of connect, that sort of ladder we can establish, certainly it will be help to the student. So the internship policy is mandatory. Our teachers training, it is mandatory. Changes in the curriculum, it has been done. Then finally industries said your assessment mechanism. End of 4 years, you are giving a mark sheet to the students. In mark sheet, you are writing that CGPA of the student is 8, 8.5. This is the particular branch of the students. Industries are saying we are not interested. We are not interested into the marks. We are not interested into the branch. In industries, not many branches are there. Every problem is without branch. Here we are saying it is a problem of physics. Another problem is related to chemistry. In the industries, there is no compartment. Whatever problems are there, it is a common problem. It is the responsibility of everyone to solve. So they said the assessment of the students which you people are doing on the basis of some 8 questions you are giving, 5 they have to solve, and if 2 they are correcting on the basis of remembering capabilities of the students, you are saying student it has been passed. Industries are saying we are not interested into that one. We are interested that what students are able to do. बच्चे क्या कर सकते हैं? That is real outcome based education. It is not important what we are teaching. It is not important in what way we are teaching. It is not important what sequence of the contents we are keeping while we are teaching into the class. Industries are saying most important is what they are able to do, what they can contribute. They are saying we need people like Mahendra Singh Dhoni. We ask what is the specialty of Mahendra Singh Dhoni? They are saying Mahendra Singh Dhoni is a cricketer. His core competence, his core areas is cricket. When he's holding the bat, he's a very good batsman. When he's behind the wickets, again the core competencies of the cricket, is a very good wicket keeper. When question of modeling is coming, is a very good model also. So when core competency related to cricket, that is also very strong. As far as presentation skills are concerned, is a very, very good presenter. When he's coming in front of media, he's a very good orator. When question of leadership is coming, he's a very good leader. Even values, ethics, if you are saying, just even without raising the finger by the empire, he moves. If some mistake is committing, if it is getting out, then he accepting. So industries are saying we need people like Mahendra Singh Dhoni. So certainly, Romendraji, the efforts which we people will have to do, not only in one direction, not only in giving that mark sheet, the attributes of these friends, hundreds of abilities friends are having. We'll have to recognize, we'll have to brought out those strengths which friends are there, and why strengths is getting failed. If strength is getting failed, it means teacher has been failed first. The strength to whom I'm teaching, if it has been failed, it means as a teacher, I have been failed. If 18 lakh students are entering into our education system, 18 lakhs should go out. In between 5 lakhs, it means we teachers are not doing justice on that one. We should feel proud that we are the teachers, we are the Indian teachers, and enormous faith society is having on us. As Seema was saying, I'm having a rich experience of 30 years teaching. Yes, undoubtedly, I'm teaching since last 30 years. And you said before joining AICT, I was director of NITR Chandigarh also. I remained there for around 5 years there. I was staying in that campus. And in that campus, many of our colleagues or professors were also staying in that campus. Near to my residence, one professor, one of my friend, he was staying in the campus. And once they planned to go out with their family on some leave travel concession like this one. So when with family they were going, only one adult they were having a dog with them. In their family, they have kept one dog. So while they were going for travel for 7-8 days, they can take anything in aircraft or rail, but it is not allowed to take that dog with them. So before going, they were requesting to us that, sir, can you take care of our dog for 7 days? I'm from a farmer's family. I know how cow can be cared, how buffalo can be cared, but I never have been trained that how dog can be cared. And dogs are empowered. They can move anywhere. They are autonomous. But because neighbor was requesting, we have taken that challenge. We have kept that dog for 7 days. That family of professor, every hour they were telephoning. After leaving that campus, every hour they were telephoning that how our dog is. Hamara kutta kaise hai? Have you given those specified biscuits to the dog? Whenever you provide bath to dog, please maintain that particular temperature of water. Even the shampoo which they specified, please do use that shampoo also every hour. But I'm in teaching profession since last 30 years. Thousands of boys and girls it has been taught by me, and they are 18 plus. When they are entering into higher education, they are 18 plus, staying in the hostels, in the campus, managing that 18 plus boys and girls in the campus. It's a very difficult task, daunting task. Many problems are coming. But I never got any telephone call during last 30 years from any parent that how my daughter is or how my son is, does they are taking proper food in the hostels, or the type of education which you are imparting, does it is as per the expectation of ours or the society. Never, no question. For the dog, no one is having faith on us that we'll be able to take care of that dog or not. But as far as their children are concerned, they don't have any doubt. I feel proud that I'm a teacher. I'm in that community where society is having enormous faith. No questions they are asking. Never they are asking question that are you giving a proper direction to my children? क्या आप जो संस्कार दे रहे हो मेरे बच्चे को वो सही है या नहीं? No one is asking. It means this is a noble profession. There is no doubt about this one. We should feel proud that we are teachers. Every day when we are getting up early in the morning, first step when we are putting on the ground, we should thank to God. We should thank to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji that Guruji, it is blessing of yours. You have given opportunity to me to serve this nation as a teacher. Every day it should be just like to thank to Guru Nanak Ji that this opportunity it has been given to me for becoming a teacher. But as a teacher, our role is very important. Every activities of ours is being copied by the students. Every activity. The way we are behaving, the way we are moving, the way we are dressing up, even the type of mobile which we are carrying, the way we are entering into the class, the way we are delivering the contents, everything is getting copied by these students. So when everything is getting copied, and if something wrong we have done, it means that also will be copied. There's no doubt about this one. So even when we are going into the class, 60 minutes class is there. Some 60 students are sitting into the class. During those 60 minutes, if your faces are not smiling, if you are not prepared to take the class, if you are not energetic, never go into the class. If you are going into the class, please do justice. If you are not prepared, never go. If you are going into the class and if you are teaching wrong contents because you are not prepared, if you are teaching wrong contents, if you are teaching electronic circuit designing, and that circuit designing if you are taught wrong, and that boy or girl after taking the education or training from ours, if after doing graduation, if he or she has become circuit designer of an aircraft which is carrying some 1,000 passengers, so that wrong teaching can spoil the life of 1,000 people. One doctor can spoil life of one person only, but the technical education graduate, by wrong teaching, it can spoil thousands of people. No eraser is available in this universe who can erase those contents which has been delivered by the teachers and which has been inserted into the hearts of the children. So foremost task is our preparedness. It has to be. We should be updated. Every day is a challenge. Our teaching profession is a challenging profession. There is no doubt about this one. So preparedness is foremost. Second one, after taking class, when you are coming out, after 60 minutes, when you are coming out, if you are feeling good, that today my class was very good. The way I planned my content, the way I delivered, the way I replied the queries of the students, it was amazing. If after taking class, if you are feeling good, that yes, today my class was very good, I had done justice with the students, you are a good teacher. You are a good teacher. There is no doubt about this. But if after taking class, if you are feeling bad, that today my class was not good, my planning was not good, my preparation was not good, I couldn't reply the questions the way it has been asked by the students, even the sequence of the contents in which I delivered, it was not up to the mark. If those type of thoughts are coming in your mind, you are having all the abilities of becoming a very good teacher because you are knowing your shortcomings. So two categories I'm saying. One, when you are feeling very good, you are a good teacher. Second one, if you are not feeling good, but you are knowing that what were the shortcomings, you are having all the abilities of becoming a very good teacher. But if you are in third category, जिसके कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता हो क्लास लेने के बाद, कुछ पुराने नोट्स लेके गए आप जो है और स्टूडेंट्स को समझ में आ रहा है नहीं यार, you are not concerned at all. You are teaching because on 30th you have to take salary. Students are studying. Students are listening because they have to take that academic degree after 4 years. Even we don't know why we are teaching. Students don't know why I'm studying. If that type of situation is there, better you leave this profession. इस profession में अगर रहना है, please do justice. Love this profession. Only then the change will be possible. बच्चों में कोई कमी नहीं है. इंडियन बच्चे कभी भी खराब नहीं हो सकते हैं. और जस्ट मैं एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल मैं आपको दूंगा and then I'll conclude. While I was doing MTech from IIT Delhi, we were 18 students in the class. I'm saying the quality of Indian students. We were 18 students in the class. And in IITs, some of the students are coming from neighboring countries also, just like Iran, Iraq, even Pakistan. That time students used to come from Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. So 2-3 students we were having from Iran also in that 18 students class. One of that Irani, he studied in Pakistan and he was university topper of Lahore University. And when he came in IIT Delhi for his MTech after doing graduation, he used to tell us the stories of Lahore University. His name was Babak Saidan. Even today I remember name Babak Saidan. Babak used to tell the stories of Lahore University. He was saying that I was topper of the class, most intelligent. And particularly Babak used to say that at the time of examination, his graph of popularity used to reach. जब एग्जाम होते थे तो ग्राफर बाबक जो है बहुत पॉपुलर हो जाता था, और पर्टिकुलरली जो सीटिंग अरेंजमेंट होता है एग्जाम में, बाबक यूज्ड टू से कि हर स्टूडेंट चाहता था कि बाबक के पास उसका बैठने का नंबर आ जाए जिससे वो कॉपी कर सके बाबक की. दैट टाइप ऑफ मैसेजेस ही यूज्ड टू गिव अस. बट इन IIT Delhi when he was with us, we were 18 students. At the time of midterm or at the time of end term, our efforts used to be that कि बाबक पास में नहीं बैठ जाए हमारे, क्योंकि ये बीच में क्वेश्चन पूछेगा, मेरा टाइम खराब करेगा, ये वो जो है. Finally, when result came after 2 years, after 3 semesters, when final result came, Babak got 18th rank. 18 ही थे, 18 से नीचे जा नहीं सकता था वो. बाबक की 18वीं रैंक आई जो है. So आप इमेजिन कर सकते हो what is the level of our Indian students. Only thing is that providing right environment, providing the right direction, and that is the role of the teachers. More than the faith which they are having on the parents, they are having faith on the teachers. With parents, they are staying for 18 hours. With teachers, they are staying only for 6 hours. But the faith which they are having, small children, I'm saying, small children at the age of 3 years or 4 years, when he or she start to go into school in nursery classes, and those children are writing something A, B, C, D, something initially, then they are writing some words. And small children in nursery classes has written a word monkey initially when they are starting writing something words and letters. So monkey spelling, suppose he or she has written MONKY. When children are coming at home, they have written MONKY. When parents are assessing the answer sheet, they are saying, "Beta, what you have done? Monkey spelling should be MONKY." The answer of that children will be, "Mummy, you are wrong. Papa, you are wrong. My teacher is saying that monkey spelling is MONKY. Even it is wrong, but the faith which they are having on the teachers." Final words for you people is, never break that faith. The society is surviving because we teachers are there. Otherwise this society won't survive. The harmony in the society, the integration in the society which we are having, because we teachers are there. Finally, love this profession. Best wishes for giving this opportunity. Hope this event will be a wonderful event, and whenever there will be opportunity physically, again I'll visit to all of you. Best wishes. Thank you very much.
Thank you
so
very much, sir. I'm feeling so motivated, so encouraged by your words, sir. Thank you for sparing your time, and I am very sure that all my faculty members will be very motivated and very much encouraged to do their duty in a much better way than they are doing now. So thank you very much, sir, for sparing your valuable time. And I assure you, sir, of our 100% cooperation in meeting the standards of higher education. And we will always be taking guidance from you, sir. And we will be looking forward to a physical visit to our institute, where you can even encourage our teachers even much more, sir. So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for
Seema ma'am, over to you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your very motivating words, sir. And we are absolutely delighted, privileged, and grateful to receive such wealth of your expertise and knowledge, sir. And I think your noble words of wisdom and your heartwarming encouragement will definitely go a very long way in boosting our academic morale. And it will lend us the much needed impetus and momentum to keep striving for excellence, sir. We are indeed very privileged to hear you out, sir. May I now request all the distinguished guests, dignitaries, and esteemed participants to please switch on their cameras if they can, so that we can seize a moment for a photo opportunity. I'd like to request everyone to come on camera. Just like to have a group photograph here. Ashish sir, I hope you will be taking the screenshot.
सर पुनिया जी अगर होंगे तो सर आपके साथ हमारे सब फैकल्टी मेंबर्स फोटो लेना चाहेंगे सर.
I'm there.
Professor Punia, Professor Desai, everyone who's there, I think everyone, if all of us can come on camera, it would be wonderful.
Professor Desai, I don't know, he was traveling, whether he'll be able to, but we'll be looking forward to a picture with you too, sir.
Everyone, please come on camera. Ashish sir, I'm requesting you to kindly do us the honors of taking the pic.
Yes, madam, I will share it.
Yeah. Are we done, sir?
Yes, madam, done.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much once again. With gratitude, people acknowledge the goodness in their lives. Gratitude helps us to feel positive emotions, relish good experiences, improve our health, deal with adversity, and build strong relationships. And I sincerely believe that thanks are the highest form of thought, and that gratitude is happiness doubled by wonder. I would now like to request Dr. Munshi Yadav to kindly deliver the vote of thanks. Over to you, sir.
Sir Punya, sir, I would like to tell you about Professor Munshi. He is nowadays he is also in the coordination committee of AICT's Universal Human Values team, sir. And he is very much involved, and he is working for this field of human values, and he is also encouraging all our faculty members also to take up this program and really imbibe and inculcate those values that are being taught in the Universal Human Values course. So thank you once again, sir, for giving him this opportunity of serving in this field. And over to you, Munshiji.
Sir, it is my pleasure to work under you. And since you are working hard for this human value, that's why we are working there. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, madam. So good morning, one and all. A graceful and warm morning to our most valued guests, worthy teachers, management committee, last but not the least, all participants gathered over here. It is my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. I, on behalf of GTVIT and the entire fraternity of the college, first of all, extend my most sincere thanks to the God. I extend a very hearty vote of thanks to the distinguished chief guest of the day, Professor MP Punya ji, Vice Chairman AICTE Delhi, who spared his valuable time from his busy schedule to grace the occasion. Thank you, sir, for your very thought-provoking and interesting address. I would like to thank Honorable Guest of Honor, Professor P.K. Desai ji, President, ISTE Delhi. Thank you, sir, for your excellent sharing, which makes this FDP a very meaningful and interesting. I would like to express my deep gratitude to the Sardar Avatar Singh Hit, Honorable Chairman, GTVIT Delhi. I would like to thank Director Dr. Rominder Karan Dawaji for her continuous encouragement, guidance, and motivation. Without that, it could not possible to do this FDP successfully. Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. I would like to thank coordinator of the program, Dr. Ashish Bhardwaj, Head of Department, Computer Science and Engineering, for his guidance and moral support. I am happy to express a vote of thanks to our committee members, Madam Josana, Madam Poonam Narang, Madam Jasleen Kaur, Dr. Seema Singh, for their hard work and dedication. Finally, I thank all the students who gave greatly help us in organizing this FDP. I take this opportunity to extend my sincere thanks to all the participants who have joined this FDP from every corner of country. We thank you for being with us. It has been a great pleasure. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir and madams.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for proposing the vote of thanks and doing us the honors for the same. As we are nearing the end of this inaugural program, we have just the time for a brief participant interaction. So the house is now open for any observations and remarks. Please feel free to share your thoughts and views as we embark on this 1 week long online FDP. It's an opportunity for anyone who wishes to say something can please voice their concerns and share their observations and their insights.
We have to start with the session also.
Right.
So a break of 10 minutes and then we will start. You can announce.
Okay. Yeah. So we've, in fact, as sir has just mentioned, Dr. Ashish Bhardwaj. So we will now break for a cup of tea, maybe just brief 10 minutes we can have. And then we will resume with the very first session of the day. I think it's already 12:08. So we can start around 12:20, sir.
Yes, madam. That will be done.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for your time and patience. You've been a wonderful audience and happy learning, everyone. And we definitely hope that this FDP will be very productive and worth your precious time. Once again, thank you, everyone.
Thank you all. We thank all the guests, all the participants, and all the organizers. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
We will meet at 12:20 after tea for the first session of the FDP.
Sure, sir.
Okay, ma'am.